Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing my favorite audiobooks of 2024. So today kicks off my end of the year content. I have many videos coming this week of just reflecting on my 2024 reading year. It has been a challenging reading year for me. First half of the year, I started out so strong, and then the second half of the year with moving, life, and just a lot of things that happened, my reading slowed down to the last couple months. I really haven't even been reading. So lots of interesting end of the year content to come and reflecting, but I am excited to start it off. Now, I am a huge audiobook listener. I need to do a video all about audiobooks and like several videos because at this point, I'm a pro, to be honest with you guys. And I have lots to say about audiobooks, audiobook narrators, etc. So for this one in particular, I have just come up with 10 audiobooks. Now, these are all romance audiobooks. I'm going to have a video where I talk about my favorite non-romances, and I listen to all those on audio as well. So I'll talk more about some of the non-romance audiobooks in another video where I talk about all the non-romance favorites of the year. So I think I have 10. Yeah, I have 10. And some of these will pop up on my favorites of the year list. Some of them won't. And you'll see some of these books in some of the other videos that I have coming out. But we're just going to get started here. This one is The Striker by Anna Huang, which matches my lights that we have here. I haven't talked about this book because this is one of those books I read and during my month that I just hit my reading slump. I think when I came back from Vegas, I finished The Striker, and I really haven't read since really coming back from Vegas, which that was like mid-October, the second to last week of October. So since then, I really haven't been reading much, and I haven't been able to really talk about this book. But The Striker is the first book, and I believe this is a series, Gods of the Game series. I think that's what it's called. And oh, look at this edition that I have. It has an art print. I don't know if you guys can really see that, but I love that. I hate that it's like sideways. Anyway, so I absolutely love this book. This is a sports romance. It's a brother's, it's not a brother's best friend. It's a brother's rival romance, or teammate. I really enjoyed this one a lot. This one is narrated by Shane East and Stella Hunter. So those are two of the best narrators in the game. I really love Stella Hunter. Shane East is amazing. He narrates a lot of the audiobooks where the male narrator or the male main character has an accent. He is so excellent at doing different accents. He is just such a fantastic narrator. So if you see any of those two names anywhere, then you should absolutely pick up a book by them. But this book was really, really great. And essentially this is following our main character, Scarlett. Scarlett is a teacher. She's a teacher at a dance academy, and her brother is a football player or soccer player, the US. And he and his teammate Asher, they do not get along, and they're really causing a lot of issues for the team. And the coach is like, look, you guys are two of my best players. You know, he kind of expects them to kind of be leaders on the team. And he's like, you guys need to really work on working together or else, right? So he actually sets it up to where they're going to be training together over the summer. Scarlett actually has to like go away for like an emergency, and Scarlett and Asher end up working together by themselves, and these two are alone, and she finds herself kind of falling for Asher Donovan, which could cause some issues obviously with her brother, but also Scarlett has gone through a lot of her life. She was an aspiring ballerina, but she experienced an accident that caused her to not be able to pursue that career, so she deals with chronic pain. And Asher, he's causing a lot of issues, you know. He's pretty reckless, causing a lot of team zone issues with his team, and was falling for one another. Now, I really did enjoy this book. It was a really great romance, really beautifully written. I enjoyed the story, but I think what really made this book for me, to be honest, and what I think I gave this one a pretty high rating, if not 5 stars, it got 4 stars for me, was the narration. I just felt like Stella and Shane East brought these characters to life. This is in duet narration, which means that when it is from the heroine's point of view, the female narrator narrates, and when it's from the male point of view, the male narrator narrates. So if, say we're in the same chapter and Asher says something, then Shane East will narrate, and if if Scarlett says something, then Stella will narrate. So I love duet narration. If you can get your hands on a duet narration audiobook, that's the way to go. It's very difficult to kind of get books in that duet narration, but I just really enjoyed this one. I honestly think that this book is too long, but I think that the narration really saved it for me. So this is when narration really comes to play here, and it really helped me, in my opinion, really fall in love with the story. But it is still a really great story. It's just my biggest con or my biggest critique is that this book is way too long, and I just felt like the narration really helped with that. So this is so amazing on audio. Highly recommend getting your hands on this one. So we have a series that came out in this year, and then it actually finished in the same year, and that is the Dragons of Ember Hollow series by Tessa Hale. So I listened to all of these books on audio. I actually got all of them on ALC. No, the first one I didn't. I got two, the other ones on ALC. So the first book in the series is Twilight of Embers. The second book is Midnight of Ashes. And the third book is Dawn of Flames. I've talked about this series quite a bit on my channel. I really love this one. This is a dragon shifter new adult series, and this is a YA series, and I just really enjoyed this one. The story itself was so interesting. I was just kind of drawn into it from the very beginning. I think it has a very strong intro into the series, and then the audiobooks though is what really brought this series to life. This series has quite a bit of action. There's all these different characters, and this has a cast of narrators, and they're all really talented, really great narrators. I just really loved each and every book, and I think I gave every book 4 stars. I just definitely want more plot with these, but this is like a romantasy, if you will, or paranormal romance series, and for that, you know, like I can't fault it on not having enough plot for me. But I absolutely love this series. So much fun, steamy. I really like how we get, I just felt so satisfied with all the romances in this one. This is just a really great one, and if you haven't listened to it yet, you can just go and binge the entire series. It is so satisfying, so fun. The romances are really well developed, and I'm just completely obsessed. And honestly, I didn't think I was a why choose person, but this kind of made me think that I might be. So highly recommend this series by Tessa Hale. Lights Out by Nevessa Allen. This is narrated by Elena Wolf and Jacob Morgan. I love Jacob Morgan. I think, someone tell me or correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that is, it's really Zach Weber. It's just the other name that he goes by. Wrong, but I loved this book on audio. This is gonna end up on my favorites of the year list, so I'm not gonna talk too much about it because you guys will hear me talk about it, and I think a couple of videos I have coming up. But this book is insane. It's in dark romance kind of. It's not necessarily rom-com, but it's definitely has a lot of really great humor, and the banter is so good. If you like Butcher and Blackbird, this is kind of like, to me, in the same kind of category as that one. I loved this book, but the main focus, right, of this video is talking about the narration. I really felt like these characters brought these characters to life, and also, Nevessa Allen is a very talented writer, and the fact that she was able to balance out all these different themes and this book was so amazing. But this audiobook really elevated it, and this is also, okay, I don't think this is in duet. I think it's dual. I could be wrong. It might be in duet. I can't remember right now, but it's fantastic on audio. So much fun. I mean, who knew a stalker romance, could be so fun and sweet. Not only was the book just absolutely phenomenal, but the narration just brings it to a whole nother level. Highly recommend checking this one out, and like I said, I will have more to say about this one in future videos, so be on the lookout, but this is one you need to listen to if you haven't yet. Next we have Wild Eyes by Elsie Sobar. So this is the second book in the Rose Hill series. I really enjoyed the first book in the Rose Hill series, but this book just made it absolutely amazing. Like, This was so good. I gave this one 5 stars. I wasn't expecting to, but the way that I fell for Skylar and Wes was just so sweet. I love Rose Hill. I love the setting of this series, but this is a single dad romance, which always gets me. I think Elsie writes the best single dad romances and the perfect kids. Like, she just really captures to me how kids really act. And one in particular, this audiobook is particularly really great because there's music in this one. Our heroine is a country star, and there's music and there's singing in it, and it is just such a really great experience. Eddie Hamilton and Savannah Beechwood narrates this one. Those are two really great narrators in the game as well. I love those two. If I see that either one of them is narrating a book, I'm definitely going to pick it up. They did a fantastic job with bringing Weston and Skylar to life. Again, I will talk more about this one in future videos, so I'm not like repeating myself constantly, but this one just blew me away, and the story itself is really great. I think that if you read this one, I think you'll love it too, but I just really felt so connected with Weston and Skylar and their story because of the fantastic romance or the audio, and it just really brought elevated Elsie's story as well. Okay, so next we have Delicate Escape by Catherine Cowell. So this is I think it's the second book in the Sparrow Falls series. I could be wrong, but I think the second one. The first one is gonna end up, this is not my favorite book in the series, but I love this audiobook. Now, I love Catherine, but I love her books on audio. This is one of those authors that I pretty much only read their books on audio. I just think that's the best way to experience their story, her stories. But this series, first and foremost, is absolutely fantastic. It is Catherine's best work. This series has a really strong found family vibe, but I just love this one, and this one starts off really good. The prologue is so good. Teddy Hamilton and Erin Mellon, and again, Teddy Hamilton is perfect, is really amazing, and so is Erin Mellon, and these two just did such a good job of bringing Thea and Shep to life. Our heroine has been on the run, and she finds solace in Sparrow Falls, but unfortunately, a ghost from Thea's past is threatening her happy and just safe life that she's building in Sparrow Falls, and Shep steps in to help Thea and be there for her. And I love Thea and Shep so much. Their relationship, their romance is absolutely beautiful, very emotional romance, lots of trauma that honestly both of our characters have experienced, and honestly all the books in this series are really great on audio. Is Love Unwritten by Lauren Asher. So this is the second book in her Lakefront Billionaire series. Let me tell you guys, I was so surprised by Love Redesign last year. It ended up on my favorite audiobooks of the year as well, but this one knocked my socks off. I love this book. This is just a really beautiful romance that I feel is very, very underrated. It's a thick boy. It's, again, I like with the Anna Huang book, it's too long for what the story is, in my opinion, but the narration just made it so amazing, and I loved it. But this is a romance between Raphael and Ellie. So Raphael is a single dad. He has a son. I'm blanking on Raphael's son's name, but his son has some health issues going on, and he's really struggling with what his son is going through, and he's single, doing this alone. His nanny, Ellie, our heroine, she was actually his music teacher, but she became his nanny. They have a very special, beautiful bond. Now, Raphael is very broody. He's very grumpy. He's not the nicest or the most pleasant person to be around. Like I said, he has a lot going on. But something happens to where he gets really upset with Ellie, and he actually fires Ellie. And his son is so devastated, so he has to grovel to get Ellie back to being his son's nanny. But in the process, Raphael really starts to form a relationship with Ellie just to kind of help with his relationship with his son. But in the process, he starts to fall for Ellie, and they have just a really special connection. And I love this book so much. It was just, honestly, I went into this book not knowing that it was going to be this emotional, and I was utterly surprised at how blown away I was, how emotionally invested in the story I was. I was just blown away by this story. It is fantastic. It is so, so good. I just have all the feelings towards Raphael and Ellie. Both of them have gone through so much, and the way that they're able to support and help each other and kind of have what the other person needs and just really find that balance and what the other person has been looking for. It was just really beautiful, and they were able to come together and create this family and this safe just home for his son. It was written by Noah B. Perez and Vanessa Edwin. I don't know if I've listened to anything by Noah B. Perez. I'm not super familiar, but he did a good job. And Vanessa Edwin is a great narrator as well, but this is severely underrated and definitely deserves more love. Okay, the next book is Burnout by Rebecca Jenshak, and this is narrated by Teddy Hamilton and Erin Mellon. So again, two of my favorites. But I loved this book. Let me say that this book came out of nowhere for me. I fell so hard for this book. This is the first book in the Holland Brothers series. I really have come to enjoy Rebecca Jenshak. I actually just need to like marathon and binge all her books. I think that she's probably one of the best sports romance authors in the game. You can just tell that she really knows sports, is very familiar with sports, loves sports, and she read about 2 different sports and 2 different athletes in this one. Following Avery and Knox, both of these characters are athletes. Avery is a gymnast who experienced an injury, and she's trying to like get back on track and really just trying to get back to the kind of athlete that she was before her injury. And then we have Knox. He's a bad boy motocrosser, and he has kind of messed things up in his career, and he's trying to get back on track with it. He's trying to get himself more opportunities and just an opportunity to show himself. Knox ends up working with Avery. She ends up kind of training him to, again, help him get back to where he needs to be, get his career back on track. And these two end up falling in love in the process. But let me just say, their banter was excellent. Their chemistry was off the charts. I really love these two. And while this is a really fun read, this one definitely had a lot of heart. It has a lot of layers. I really enjoyed that so much. I just absolutely fell in love with these two, and it was hard. It was hard to choose between this one and Playbook, but this audiobook in particular, I just found to be so good, and definitely recommend it because I just think it made me love the story even more. But also, this is a slow burn romance, and let me just say, and a lot of these are like Love Unwritten is a slow burn, and The Striker is a slow burn. I love listening to slow burn romances because that's my preference, and this one is a really great slow burn, but with really great banter, which I think is what is going to make a slow burn romance really good. And what I think makes listening to these audiobooks so good is listening to the banter between our main characters, because the chemistry is just sizzling, and not just like the physical chemistry, but like everything. You just get to see their connection really build up, and it's so satisfying when we finally get to that moment when they give in. And I just really love these two. They have my heart, and this is just absolutely fantastic. Cannot recommend this book and this audiobook enough. Okay, so the next book is Curvy Girl Summer by Danielle Allen. It's actually the only book I don't own, but this is narrated by Wesley Savon, and let me just say, I love Wesley Savon. She's one of my favorite narrators. She narrates a lot of Black romances, and she is absolutely fantastic. She narrated this book on her own, and she killed it. Okay, this is the perfect summary romance, as you can see by the title, but this is such a great romance that, again, I just think is underrated, kind of flew under the radar this year. I just don't think enough people picked it up, but if you missed out on it, you definitely need to pick this one up because it is such a great romance, and I fell in love with the story. There's definitely more going on than just the romance. Our main character is really going on a journey. Our heroine, Aaliyah, which, by the way, was very hard for me to read because my sibling's name is Aaliyah, but I got through it. Aaliyah her birthday is coming up soon, and she really wants to have a date for her birthday party, and she wants to get back into dating. She feels a lot of pressure from her family members on dating and relationships. She's also a curvy woman, and while she feels really good about her body, many other people have a lot to say. So there's definitely some fat shaming and some comments about her body made by other people. So that is a trigger warning, but she personally loves her body and feels really great about her body, and she knows that that is not a reason why she's single or anything like that. So anyway, she's trying to get back out there. She gets set up on a date by her coworker, and it's at this bar, and that person is a no-show. And the bartender, Ahmad, is like, look, if you really want to get back into dating, there's this app. You know, he kind of encourages her to join this app, and he's like, look, what you can do is you can bring them here. I'll look out for you. It's a safe space for you, but this, you know, this can be like a good safe space for you to date. Bring your dates here before you like go anywhere else with them, you know? So she has someone looking out for her. And so she starts bringing these dates here, and she has a lot of chemistry with Ahmad, but Ahmad is a little bit of a mystery, and they just don't seem to connect and get on the same page to see what's going on between them. But I love this book. Like I said, the romance is really great, but I also enjoy the individual story that our main character Ellie is going on. But this was such a great audio. I was just sucked into the story. It was funny. It was sexy. I just thought that Wesley Simon just brought it all to this audiobook, and it was just such a well-rounded read, and I absolutely loved it. So highly recommend you guys check this one out. It's so, so good. Savorite by Terry DeWitt. This one is narrated by Carissa Thacker, and Zachary Weber. Carissa really captured Sage Bird so well, and Zachary Weber brought Fisher to life in such a way. I haven't decided if this is going to end up on my favorites or not. It might, but this book is about our hero Fisher. Fisher is a chef, and he is struggling. He actually just lost his Michelin star. He's really struggling and in his career just can't get back on track. And he's the guardian of his late sister's daughter, and he is, like I said, he's just really struggling. And one of his last ditch efforts to kind of get back on track, his boss gives him this assignment in Spoons. Is it Spoons, Oregon? Spoons, Oregon. So he heads to this small town with his niece for the summer, and the townspeople are not happy that he's there. They don't want some big shot chef opening up. They just don't want him anywhere near the town. They're not very welcoming towards him. And we have our heroine, Sage. Now, Sage, oh, I love her. She's such a relatable heroine. I just found her to be so relatable, and sometimes that's kind of hard to find main characters to relate to. From Spoons, she's lived in Spoons her whole life, and her and Fisher kind of decide that they're going to help each other out. So Sage was in a long-term relationship, and now they're broken up. It kind of feels like she needs a win because she feels like the town is kind of pitying her. So there's this competition that she wants to compete in to win. The perfect opportunity for her, and she actually teams up with Fisher, and Fisher kind of needs Sage because, like I said, she's been there her whole life. She's lived in Spoons her whole life, and this has kind of helped him to kind of get the town on his side and to kind of accept him. But what he doesn't expect is to fall in love with Spoons and to fall in love with Sage. These two have such a beautiful romance. It's one of those quiet romances that I just found to be really beautiful to read about, and just felt like these two people found home in each other, and they found like solace and peace within each other, and I loved it. It was just such a sweet story, and I loved it. And I just feel like the audiobook just made it so beautiful, just really like topped it off for me. So anyway, highly recommend this one on audio. It is so good, and if you haven't experienced this book yet, or Terry DeWitt, this is like a really great place to start. Okay, last but not least, we have Funny Story by Emily Henry. So you're definitely going to see this on my favorites of the year list. This is narrated by Julie Whelan. She narrates all of Emily Henry's books. Julie Whelan is one of my favorite narrators of all time. The way she brought Daphne and Miles to life is just so amazing. I just feel like I can't imagine listening to a book by Emily Henry and not having Julia Whelan's narration. I just think she always fits her character so well. Loved it. First of all, the premise is hilarious. Daphne's partners end up leaving them for each other, and Daphne needs somewhere to live. She just moved to this town. I think it's Michigan. Yeah, she just moved to Michigan with her partner. She doesn't have anywhere to live. She doesn't really have many friends. All her friends are his friends. Everything's just kind of happening all at once for her. And Miles, now he's single and he could use a roommate too, so they decide to move in together. and these two end up falling in love, and it's a tale as old as time. I love it. I could say so much more about Miles and Daphne, but this is just one of those perfect stories, and one of those stories that I read, I think, at the perfect time, and one that I really want to reread because I didn't have the physical copy at the time, and there's just so much to highlight and so much that needs tabbing, in my opinion. But Julie Mayman just did such an amazing job with this audiobook. Okay, well, that is it for me and my favorite romance audiobooks that I read in 2024. I had so many more that I could have talked about, but I just need to do my top 10 here. I think that's 10. Hopefully I didn't go over. We'll see. But let me know some of your favorite audiobooks that you listened to this year, romance or not. Anyways, thank you so much for watching today's video. Please leave me a headphone emoji if you made it this far. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.